We are Geelong, we're always on the ball.
Yes, they certainly did. And one part of the coaching group, which was pretty happy with themselves, is James Kelly. He's the backline coach at the Cats, and he's been around that club for a while now, and as a player, but also, of course, now as an assistant coach. Hey, James, congratulations on making it, but I suppose that's not good enough. You're there to win it now, aren't you?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we are. That's the thing. You get through a prelim and you come into a week like this and you prepare as well as you can, and there's always an emotional sort of risk that you take about potentially not winning, but you certainly go into these weeks preparing to win, that's for sure.
Hey, early doors, you sort of had the game on your terms early, and then sort of Hawthorn got those 3 goals. You had to recalibrate. You lose Stewart. You get Henry goes down with an injury. Intrigued, and we only see shots of the coach's box, and Simmo's been in the coach's box in big games as well. But from an outsider looking in, what's the mood like in there? Who's controlling the narrative? Who's controlling the chat in regards to, all right, let's reassess where we're at. We're 3 down. We've got a couple of injuries. How do we shift the magnets? Who does all that? How does that conversation go?
Yeah, well, Scotty he drives a bit of it, but we sort of work on, it's a bit of a shared responsibility, and we like to think that we're pretty prepared for most contingencies if we lose certain players. Like, we definitely weren't as well prepared as we would have liked to have been if Jack Henry didn't come back onto the ground. Things like that are potentially really catastrophic. So we dodged a bit of a bullet with Jack being able to come back on, but pretty quickly we're like, okay, as soon as Stewie goes down, how are we going to fill the defender? Who are the players we can flip between positions? We're really fortunate in our team that we have guys that can play multiple positions. Jai Clark came on as a sub, but he spent time on the wing, in the midfield, and even got spat to the forward line a few times. Jack Bowes is in that sort of group as well with Jack Martin. So in amongst all of that, we know we've got guys that we've worked on sort of for most of the year that we can deploy in different spots, which is really helpful. And mainly, and Simmo can talk to this as well, like you really just have to keep your wits about you and stay calm. If everyone starts sort of carrying on a little bit and jumping up and down about what's gone wrong, you sort of miss the sort of process of it in all that sort of emotion. So we just sort of try our best to stay pretty calm and take a deep breath at quarter time.
Yeah, no pork chops in the coach's box, Goss, especially if you're the senior coach. From a planning point of view, from afar, it looks like out of all the finals team, you guys have planned really, really well with your selection and your matchups. You play the same team twice in the final series and you've shown your cards a little bit. Can you see yourself doing a lot of different things after what was really a well-executed style and matchup sort of base a few weeks ago? How do you go about doing something different, or is it going to be horses for courses without giving away too much, obviously?
I think there's some fundamental things that we won't want to go away from. I thought the last time we played Brisbane, we defended really well in formation. Our pressure around the footy was really good. They're just good rules for life in finals. If you could do those things really well, it goes a long way to helping you win the game. I think the thing where we will spend a bit of the time this week is more so what we think they might change. They have publicly said they weren't happy with their performance. Obviously, they lost the game, so we've got a lot of respect for them and their coaching group, and they're a really smart coaching group, so we just have to assume that they're going to change a few things. So working through all that sort of stuff, and that'll sort of inform our planning a little bit. What would they do differently? What would we do if we're in their shoes? That's sort of where we'll spend, particularly early in the week, trying to sort of, make some educated guesses around that sort of stuff. That's sort of the challenge, is like, what would they do differently now? There's some stuff with like Lockie Neal and Berry with his shoulder and things like that. We sort of have to try to make a bit of an educated guess on that as well. But as well as anyone, you spend most of your week just planning, okay, well, as the dominoes start to fall later in the week, we're not making those decisions when they fall. We try to get out ahead of it in the next couple of days. Hopefully that's the plan. We'll see how we go. Yeah,
and there's a lot of, from a line coach point of view, a lot of the little things that you've got to plan for in terms of matchups and positioning. And without Tom Stewart, is he going to involve himself at all this week? Is he part of the coaching group? Does he like that stuff, or will he be sitting in the stands, looking from afar?
I'm not actually sure what he's going to do on game day. I had a good chat with him on Saturday, and he's obviously really keen. He's a great leader in the footy club. regardless of whether he's on the field or not. So he'll still be around and help. And we've got a few guys who haven't played in a grand final before, so he's a perfect resource for them. You know, the guys who come to mind are Connor O'Sullivan and Lawson Humphreys. He can just be a bit of a sounding board for them, because the grand final week can become a bit overwhelming. For, you know, there's tickets and friends and family that pop up out of everywhere for you, and it's a busy week and all that sort of stuff. So his sort of role, he's such a calming influence on everyone around the footy club. So his sort of role in that week, he'll just sort of move through the week and fill the gaps where he feels like he sees them.
James Kelly with us from the Geelong Football Club ahead of Saturday's huge game. So that being said, with Tom, straight after the game, you know, everyone, how's he feeling? And everyone's looking to console him, and we get all that. But how quickly do teams and the players want to move on quickly and say, yeah, we get it, he's got concussion, he's not going to play next week, we feel for you, but we can't dwell on it? How quickly does that happen inside going into a grand final?
Pretty quick, to be honest. Like, it's not ideal for Tom, but everyone knows that that's the best way forward, is to actually just move forward really quickly. If we're lucky enough to win the game, our hearts will break for Tom at the time, but there's still a job to do this week. And one of the great things about our playing group is they're a really caring group. They really get on well with each other, but they're also really driven and really professional. They'll move on with the week pretty quickly. And the character of Stewie, he's such a good person. He doesn't want anyone to wait and, you know, console him. He's like, all right, where can I help? What can I do? Let's move the week forward. So it's sad, but on the other side of that coin is, you know, Stewie can help us move the week forward himself as well. So, you know, hopefully we have a good week and we can all sort of, you know, console Stewie at the end of the week.
Well, we know, and we saw the plaudits come for Patrick Dangerfield and how good he was and the like, but also Bailey Smith. Been a remarkable recruit for you. He goes into the Brownlow count as a genuine contender. You know, and I know he has his dramas, his social media dramas, and he had a bit of a setback during the week, and that was dealt with quickly by Geelong. But you got a good one. Everyone thought you were taking a risk going for the colourful Bailey Smith, but he seems to have settled in, and the best part for you, he's producing on the field. He's a genuine chance tonight at the Brownlow.
Yeah, I hope he does really well. You know, it's really good for Bailey. One of the things is, with the things that you mentioned that pop up here and there, I think people forget how hard he actually, well, they probably don't know how hard he actually works when he's in the four walls of the footy club. He's been an amazing resource for young players. He's got a great relationship with older guys like Paddy in the group and younger guys like Ollie Dempsey and Lawson Humphreys in the team. So he's a really good player that can sort of bridge across the whole group, and he's a little bit different to the guys that we've got, but he's brought a great energy and life in amongst the group. So, yeah, we're really fortunate that he wanted to come here, and I hope he goes really well tonight. It'd be great for him.
And Stephen King, it's interesting. He's avoided the sauna this week. That was good to see him get the job a few weeks ago. How's he been handling it? Must be weird coaching another AFL club, but getting through the season. And that's a mature thing to do, Goss, letting the coach and stay within the club to get it done. It hasn't happened sometimes before. Obviously, he hasn't done anything different in the last couple of weeks, but your aspirations for senior coaching one day, is it in the back of your mind, or are you just doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I just talked to Kingy first. Like the thing with Kingy's been really good. Like you mentioned, the maturity from both clubs, to the opportunity for Kingy to stay and finish off. And I'm sure when he's not at Geelong, he's chipping away in the background at some Melbourne stuff with their list management, particularly. But in terms of how he showed up at work here every day, it's been no different really. He's been brilliant. And as for myself, it's something that, you know, I sort of keep an eye on pretty closely, and hopefully I'll end up there one day. But I'm a bit like Kingy this week. I just sort of want to get through a good week and hopefully win a premiership. Yeah.
Oh, if you had to steal one player, who's you chipping away at? Who's his favourite?
Yeah, I don't know.
There'll be someone. Anyway, we'll worry about it next week.
I mean, yeah, we'll worry about that next week. Yeah. But yeah, we might get all the boys to change their phone numbers.
Hey, James, you went through that process. Did you learn from it? What did you learn from it, the Melbourne process?
Yeah, I learned a bit. I think it was my first ever job interview in life, let alone for coaching. But it's sort of one of the things that's great is just as a person going through that process of actually putting your presentation together is some of the best PD you can do. I think like all right, if I'm in charge and if I'm under pressure in a football department next year, what are the things I'm going to die on the hill for? What are the things that I really, truly value? You know, those sort of things you have in your mind, but when you've got to put it on paper and articulate it in a semi-intelligent sort of way, that was a really valuable part of the experience for me. And then I just really enjoyed the opportunity to talk about that stuff to a really big sort of group of football people. You learn a fair bit about yourself in the process, which is good. So I learned that I enjoyed doing that, and hopefully get another opportunity in future years.
I'm sure you will, and it'll be big on the CV if you can get this team over the line as in your role down back. Mate, Geelong's probably going to go crazy this week, I'd imagine, or do they know how to temper expectations, the fans down there at the Cattery?
No, well, I don't really want them to temper the expectations. I think it's a good thing for Geelong. Geelong, the Cats are in the Grand Final, the GFL Grand Final's on Friday on the public holiday, so it's a big week just for Geelong in general. But I like driving to work and seeing Geelong posters up in shops and all that sort of stuff. So I imagine it's a bit like Perth when West Coast were in the finals and really successful. It brings the town to life a little bit, and everyone's talking about it. It's good for everyone. It's a good feel. The sun's out, all that sort of stuff. So I want the fans to enjoy the week as much as we do.
Have a great week, mate. We really do appreciate you taking our call this morning. And, may the best team win on the weekend, and may that be the Cats. Good on you, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.